almost feels like maybe the mechanics of this game were made for another game, or made for like a tech demo, and that's what they just rolled with through the entire development. Like this is like the tech demo mentality. We're seeing this cool gameplay, and we're seeing Josh run through these interesting environments, but the why to it isn't developed in the same way that a tech demo might not be developed. And honestly, like games like this, this reminds me a lot of Valve games like Portal and Portal 2. The difference being that they spent a lot of time on making it less of a tech demo and more of like legitimate puzzles, you know, mixing with story, mixing with atmosphere, to add tension and add depth.
Well, what's weird is like I would agree that certainly I think the story is a little underdeveloped and sort of painted on, like Redscorn said. But I think like oh, that's not good. There are moments of they know how to engineer an emotion. Like this segment is actually really tense, and I really dig it. The escaping the helicopter sequence. It doesn't maybe seem that way from watching the stream, but it's intense when you know you have to keep moving forward or you'll get shot. And there's little particles flying everywhere.
That's intense because of the mechanics. That's not intense because of the story. I'm not feeling from this. I'm definitely feeling the tension from the fucking attack helicopter shooting at you. I'm not feeling the tension from, well, I guess we're running because they know that we know, but that doesn't really, like, it's like when I think back to like Half-Life 2 and when you're running from the Combine and you can they know you're Gordon Freeman and they're coming after you. That felt tense to me in more of a way than this does. I don't even understand why they care like about this so much. And who is in the helicopter? The police? This conspiracy seems a little confounded. And that's if you really are being framed for the murder, then I can kind of understand it. But I still don't have any like real attachment to that story. It doesn't strike me as something that I can really get involved in.
This game feels a lot like the Empire Strikes Back story of a three-part trilogy. Like it feels like the middle bit where you've got the general ideas of how this like world works together already, and you don't need to spend time introducing them, and then they didn't do that because they don't actually have those established. I don't want to be over here. You guys can have fun over there. Let's go this way.
Also, a question is, somebody who hasn't actually played the game, how are they going to ramp it up from here? I feel like an attack helicopter is pretty high stakes.
2 attack helicopters.
That's it. It's just gonna, every level gets one more attack helicopter, like it's a fucking 90s game.
Whoa. That's a cool thing. Oh, see those guys coming
it gradually
through.
Transitions into a shmup.
I should point out that this game uses physics or whatever, and it was one of the first games to really have those like those plastic hangy bits. Not everybody in the original release got to see those. I don't think they were available on the consoles at all.
I love those, by the way.
And you only get to see them if you had.
That's awesome. That cheeky moment there, where like the way you get past these cops is you literally like juke around them and run into the elevator they just came out of. Like that's badass. The game is really good at moments like that, where you can't even believe, where you know exactly what to do, but you can't even believe that you're doing it.
Well, that's sort of, I think, what makes this game interesting to compare to the game that followed it with Catalyst, because this game is very much about, for lack of a better word, set-piece design. Everything you're doing is sort of a scripted set-piece that feels way more epic than I think mechanically it really is. And I think everybody wanted to stretch that out into sort of a more systems-y driven thing, where like, what if we could just choose whatever way we wanted to go in an open world? And that's kind of what Catalyst tried to be, and Catalyst, I think, showed why that maybe doesn't translate the way this game works.
Yeah, people expected that this was going to be like an open world, like exploration type game, but it's not. It's a fast-paced puzzle game. It has much more in common with like kind of an action-y Portal than it does with, you know, any kind of like Crackdown or Saints Row type experience.
I don't think that this kind of gameplay would mix well with a big open world sort of game, just in the principle of it. You're supposed to move fast, right? You're supposed to be like jumping from place to place and going very quickly, and this is all supposed to be happening, you know, at the same rate as your heartbeat or something like that, right? Like, so this is supposed to be this fast, adrenaline-filled game. You get an open world, and you know, if I were to design an open world, what do I put in it? Secrets, and you know what that's going to mean? Everybody's going to be stopping at every rooftop.
That is literally what happened.
Exactly, and all of your tension's gone immediately.
So the cheat that they do in Catalyst is they don't really make much of an open world. It's really a large series of interconnected but like preset running corridors. Like, it doesn't look like a bunch of corridors because it's all outside, but there's not actually a whole lot of the city that you can explore.
Yeah, people saw free running and they immediately thought, what am I going to get out of this? Like, what is the appeal of this free running mechanic? And I think the developers looked at this and they instantly realized, oh, excitement. This is really exciting. It's super fast-paced and awesome. It feels epic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're fine.
But the players looked at it and they assumed, oh, it's there because it's freedom. Like that's
right.
What we're getting out of it.
You okay?
No, I agree, and I think that's part of the problem, is everyone was like, in an open world game, we could be able to like go anywhere we want and do all kinds of sick jumps and stuff, but the problem is the movement mechanics really are not expressive enough to make movement feel like... Playing this game is not like playing Tony Hawk. You're not like doing the most insane sick moves. You're trying to move smoothly and quickly through the environment, not do badass tricks. And as a result, like having the ability to go anywhere doesn't really open up more possibilities for badass tricks. All it means is like, ultimately there's going to be one fastest route, and it's about finding that fastest route and then doing it again and again and again until you get the best time. Like, that's eventually what this game became about, was speed running, and that means that you're only going to be following basically one route that is potentially the fastest. There's no expressiveness in it, but I think people assumed there was because it felt good.
Every cop in the city seems to be after her.
That the evidence you lifted? Yeah, I think it's from a diary.
It's a weird thing to chase after.
All I can make out are
the idea
Did you catch
that
the piece of paper going underneath the layer that was Celeste's left arm?
No.
His dad made him
No, I missed that.
Wax. And the boy flew too close to the sun.
There's all sorts of little
references in video
errors with
games.
this cutscene.
It's a lot less ham-fisted in this game than it is in Human Revolution.
And you know who it'll be, Faith.
Yeah.
What, like Icarus's mythology character? Mythology, is that correct? I don't know.
Mythological.
I'm tired, shut up. Yeah.
Jacknife.
Is that in Human Revolution or the other one?
It's in both.
Fuck this character. What if we had a jackass and we didn't find anything interesting for him to do? Wouldn't that be interesting?
I love that cloth
I'm not
engine.
gonna lie. I totally tune out those cutscenes. Like, I don't actually mind the art style. Like I was saying before, it's kind of funny how there are AAA games using similar sort of looks. Maybe not, obviously better. Maybe not quite the same, but there are games coming out now that are similar. But I still tune them out because, again, nothing about this story has captivated me at any point.
Yeah, because
and
all these stories about what's happening, but not why you should care.
Yeah, and maybe that comes back in and ties back in with the point that I think Chris was making earlier with the fact that this is supposed to be a dystopian future, but there's nothing that really shows us that. And so, like you're running from the police, and I don't see, like, right now, you just look like a criminal who's running from the police who literally think you're a criminal. And like, this is maybe
they are
maybe
shooting
a bit
you
overkill,
on sight. So yeah, maybe that's overkill.
Yeah, but still, like, not something that I think is, like, totally out there.
Yeah, so I wanted to get back to, like, the noir being, like, a noir story being told in a city that's, like, all bright and colorful and nice looking, and kind of talk about that in general. Because, like, the setting as described and some of the stuff in the setting, like, that tie into the setting of this game,
God, I love the metal in this
Stop the game so you can turn this wheel.
Yeah, the metal looks
this is fun.
Isn't that like they had to do that for a level transition reason or something?
I don't know.
That's
like a lot of the way the setting
because that's the only reason why you
game
have to turn that wheel.
I actually don't know about that, because So way back in the day, I did an episode on Mirror's Edge, and I've told this story before, but like, I railed against the combat a lot in that video, and it's like, there's no reason for the combat sucks. EA probably made him put it in. And I actually got a letter, or an email from one of the guys that worked at DICE that worked on Mirror's Edge, and the reason for having so much forced combat was that it's already a game that, when played, is about 6 hours long, and for a $60, back when we were just starting to see $60 games, they were like, we can't have it be like optionally almost 4 hours if you skip combat. So maybe that pipe is there as a way to make the metrics for that level last that much longer, so that it takes an additional 30 seconds.
Why did they just add a bunch of elevators and like...
Oh god.
Hang on, Faith. You gotta recharge your cell phone.
Yeah, there is a lot of like weird padding stuff in this game. Later on, we'll be doing a whole lot of vent stuff, which doesn't really fit into this game at all.
Again, it feels like this was almost a tech demo. Like this started out as a tech demo, and never broke free from that.
I don't know about that, because like, I wouldn't say tech demo. I would say maybe design thought exercise. Like, it's a proof of concept of first-person platforming. That's not really black demo, because it's not showing off, like, a new technology, because all this technology already existed, but it's showing off a design approach to make first-person platforming work.
Well, for the record, I paid $20 for this game, and, you know, not like, obviously a lot of work went into this game, and I think developers should get paid for it. But as a consumer, I felt like $20 was the perfect price point for this. For like the amount of hours I got
I would have
playing
said
this.
30, maybe 40 would be a reasonable compromise.
I'd buy that. I mean, I wouldn't purchase it, but I would accept it.
Looking at things today, there's a lot of games out there that kind of scratch this itch for me. So I can see a $20 price point for this game being totally acceptable. But I mean, what existed in this time? When did you say it came out, Josh? What was the exact
2008? Yeah.
Yeah, what was really out in 2008 that really scratched this itch? I mean,
first-person platforming, very little. Very little good, I should say.
Yeah, it was Portal, but I don't think Portal 2 came out later, didn't it? And
no,
Portal 2
1 came out 2007. Portal 2 was 2013, 2012, something like that.
2011.
2012 or 2011. 2011. There you go.
I think it's 2011. But
it's
like
really been that long.
That one is the one I look back at as the real platform.
I fucked up.
Portal 1 was puzzles. But Portal 2 was definitely platform, especially if you did the multiplayer component of it. So this was the only thing out there. Like, I remember the one time I did play this, it was on a console at a friend's house, and it was really just stupid fun. Like they put me on there, and I did my crazy voices as I like ran as quickly as I could, and they laughed at me, and it was fun. It was just like a lighthearted, like I don't want to say fluffy, but fluffy is the word that comes to mind. It just kind of felt like a fluffy experience, and I liked it.
I can see that.
This is an example of why I love the combat in this game. So, there's a sniper team there. This game gives you... Okay, yeah, so it says there, like, take the snipers and keep out of their way, you know. And you can pick up those sniper rifles and use them. And it feels like, oh, this is cool that this is an option that exists. Like, these are real things that exist in this world. I'm not having these possibilities arbitrarily restricted. And that kind of makes every action scene feel more intense because I'm very much the director of it.
Yeah.
It's not that there's like a linear path I'm keeping to. I know that like kind of I'm responsible for my own decisions, and that kind of makes every turn I make that much more intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my first time through, I shot or I sniped the heck out of everybody, and on later playthroughs, I stealthed it totally.
Yeah, I think most people did it that way.
That was weird. It let me like go from the wall, and then like immediately sent me falling.
Another thing I like about this game is that I have no idea what this building is, but it never occurred to me to think like, what is it? It just looks like it should exist. Like they did a good job with the design.
It's a giant canal, because you go deep underground where the water drains. Yeah.
See, but like it never like was weird in my mind. There's lots of games, especially like old Half-Life. In old Half-Life, the original Half-Life is practically the
what is
breeding
this
ground
Mountain
for funny
Dew
like.
factory?
Yeah, why is this room just a room full of boxes that go to nowhere, or this giant elevator shaft that goes down to like these fucking claws that crunch everything up? Like, what is the point of any of these rooms? And I've never run into that here, and that's good. It's hard to make interesting levels that that don't.
Why won't you?
That fit your purposes, but don't trigger anything in somebody's mind of like, why is this person here? What is this room?
It's really fun.
I'm trying to picture what this game. Go ahead.
It's really fun watching Freeman's mind after not having played Half-Life since it came out, and all these environments were super revolutionary, and just realizing like, yeah, what the fuck is this room? It's like the room full of water where they dump meat? What?
Yeah, what the fuck is this room, and why are the catwalks all so fucking weak? Every single goddamn catwalk you encounter is just like, oh, there it goes.
Heck? Why did I stop there? What was that?
So what were you saying, Chris?
I cannot remember.
Well, if I can get back to the thing I was saying like an episode ago about the setting, and not get interrupted repeatedly this time. Like the way this game is
I really
set
love
up.
is
Fuck you.
these red pipes. It wouldn't be your brother on the show if I didn't interrupt you plenty. But go ahead.
So the setting as like described is like you've got this really nice city and everything's cool and there's a lot of great technology and everybody's happy, but there's no privacy. And like it's weird because that was kind of like a political like thing to be I'm an idiot. That was kind of a political thing to be tackling at the time back in like 2008. You think like the Patriot Act was a big deal at the time, and now it feels like way worse 9 years later. But something I always liked about the way that was being done in this game was like a lot of games have this sort of cyberpunk like it's the future and there's lots of great technology and there's no privacy but everything sucks. And I never felt like that was really the way that would go in reality. Like, I mean, how is our privacy being eroded today? Well, we give it to Google and we give it to Facebook, and they give us these great,
Google, thank
fantastic...
you for letting us host this video on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't shut us down.
They give us these great, fantastic, you know, new things and new features that we can take advantage of in life, and like it's not a matter of like someone's coming to you and saying like, I demand you give me your information. It's like, hey, like give us your information so you can, you know, browse the internet more effectively, so we can have better map services for you and stuff like that.
You're coming real close to making me have to say something nice about Watch Dogs, and I really don't want to say anything nice about Watch Dogs, so... For the record, I have yet to play Watch Dogs 2, which I hear is actually a really, really good game, so...
My biggest problem with Watch Dogs is you don't watch any dogs. I really expected that to be a major plot point.
I've actually been somewhat stumped. So I have a Chris Franklin-o-meter, where I plug in new releases that, whether or not I've played them, and judge whether I think that Chris will like it while having a lot of bad things to say about it, or hate it and have a lot of bad things to say about it. And I'm actually, I'm not yet settled on Watch Dogs 2. So
I've yet to
I'm
play it.
interested.
I need to sit down and actually figure out what's going on with it. Callahan, that's a weird bit of world building, because that becomes important later, if I remember right.
Yeah. I feel Callahan's like the big bad evil politician dude. Oh, hi. All right. Is that how we greet each other in the runner world? Hello, Faith. Run.
With his back turned.
I fucking hate this douchebag character.
He's actually the douchebag cop from before, and that was him undercover.
Oh, I hate this guy.
I know that they felt like they needed to have a scene where you chase a character, but which is cool with version of the mechanics.
Chase characters more effectively.
Yeah, like, okay, here's the thing. Chasing a character is fun, but A, you want to catch them, which, spoilers, you don't really catch them in any satisfying way. And secondly, it's nice if there's a bit of a role reversal where for once, like, they feel like the terrified quarry, and you feel like the hunter. Yeah. And in this case, he's just like, lol, being a douchebag.
Yep.
You can actually like get way ahead of him and fuck everything up about this. Like he'll just start teleporting.
Number 3, I'm gonna add to this. He fucking stands still if you get too far away from him, or if you just stop. That's dumb. I would much prefer this to be a sequence where he's trying to like, or I don't know, maybe this happens later, but somebody's trying to get away from you, and if you fucking stand around, they get away, and either that presents a fail state or does something to the plot. But this just feels like, haha, I don't want your cooties, stay away. Like,
yeah, well, at the same time,
nothing would change.
It's like, is failing catch him a fail state? He's not really running away from you, he's just being a jerk.
Faith, you're losing him. Do we care? I don't care. Oh, I thought the poster there before you backed up, I thought that was the floors, and it was like
direction?
1 trans fats, 0 carbs. I'm like,
no, okay.
What floor is?
This is funny though.
What are these floor names? Ha.
All right, that's nice of you, jackass.
His fucking back would be broken. Is he gonna stand up from that just like in a minute? Because his back is broken. I don't care what you tell me.
Yeah.
His back is fucking broken. Just like yours was when you fell through that window.
That was,
Windows, as it turns out, aren't very good cushions. I don't know if you've ever fallen through one. They're sharp though. If you're looking for sharp.
You sound like you're speaking from experience.
Maybe.